The story starts with a dark and cloudy night, and we see a girl running. She suddenly stops, and while looking at the sky she says, "Is that all you've got? If you can, why don't you just strike me?" Suddenly she sees that the thunderbolts are falling at her. While looking at this she says, "Now isn't this a bit too much?" After that she tells that in the 24th century, I am the only cultivator left, and says I just need to avoid these 99 lightning strikes in order to ascend the path to becoming an immortal. Meanwhile in the Space Center someone says, reporting an officer, there have been sightings of an unidentified object at the coordinates. The object has attracted a thunderstorm, and we suspect it to be Country M's newly developed single-person aircraft. We have a missile aimed at the exact location needed to exterminate the people of M Country. Damn, could they actually be this arrogant? After saying all that, they launches the missile. Then a blast happens and the girl says, "I will not give up." After that she listens someone is crying and saying, "Miss, wake up." Then she suddenly wakes up and pulls his chicks. Then the guy asks her, "What are you doing, miss?" She replies, "I was just trying to make sure that this is not a dream." After that she listens the people are talking with each other that Master died just like that, who will protect her now? I also heard the Master left her a treasure. That's even more tragic. Then suddenly a guy comes to her and says, "I am your servant, Ling He. I will follow the last wish of Master and protect you, young miss." After that she looks towards her hand and thinks, what? I was reincarnated into another body. Well, I suppose that's fine. I'll experience life again in this world. You suffered through a lot of hardships before your death. Now, I will live in your place and get revenge for you. According to the original owner's memories, we should be on the road to Jai City. After that some soldiers comes there to protect her from their enemies. Then Ling says, "Hurry, take the young miss and get out of here." The soldier says to her, "Miss, let us hurry and go." Suddenly a thunderbolt strikes on her, but Ling protects her with his sword and says, "Miss, hurry and leave. I'm afraid we won't last much longer." And while listening to him she thinks, "Leave? I still want to wait and see who exactly will the underworld really claim. I'm owed a lot after all the things I went through. Instead of asking God to pay me back, I can simply ask them." After that she takes out her sword and thinks some are still alive. That's wonderful. That allows me to practice my skills some more and get used to this new body. After that she says to her soldiers that clear everything away and prepare to leave, and thinks the original owner of this body was gifted a treasure by her father, the armor of the World Destroyer. Because of that, she was named the master of a city. I'm afraid my life from now on won't be very peaceful. However, things are more interesting this way. After that Ling says, "Miss, just now you were." While he was saying something she suddenly stops him and says, "Cutting people, didn't you see?" After listening to her he thinks, but how could the young miss use her own blood to call forth lightning? Could it be the young miss's blood really as a treasure? I need to gather it all up. After that a soldier comes to him and says, "Leader, what are you doing?" Then quiet down. I'll tell you, but you absolutely cannot tell anyone else. After that while she is meditating under the tree, a soldier comes to her and says, "Miss, this is bad. We found a young man over there." Then she orders him that bring me to him. After that the soldier takes her to that injured guy. Then she goes towards him and says, "Let's save him first." While looking on his face she thinks, "This young man is so cute and handsome. I want to." After that she suddenly stops and thinks, no, healing his injury is more important right now. Bring him to the carriage. We'll treat him after we enter the city. Meanwhile later in carriage, while looking at him she thinks, the dimensional space soul jade that Master put into my body before his death. I wonder if it's still there. What a relief. It's a good thing I didn't lose it. This is an heirloom, passed down from master to master over thousands of years. Many treasures were saved in here. They are more than enough for me to live off. I need to get back to my original strength, but right now, I need to fix the mess I created. Then suddenly the carriage driver says, "Miss, look here." After that she asks him what's wrong. Then he replies, "We're here." After that she asks him, "This place isn't half bad." Then he replies, "What? It's clearly very bleak." After that she says, "How's it bleak? The city's called Jai City, and my name is Jai Fengyan. We're very suited for one another. Besides, fewer people, fewer problems. It's out of the way. So this is the perfect place to cultivate." While listening to her, the soldier says the young miss came from the capital, but she's saying that this place is good. Just how bad was her life before? We will definitely take care of the young miss. After that she thinks, I think they're misunderstanding something. Then Ling says, "Miss, don't worry. The son of the master of Lei City has a marriage contract with you. They will surely treat you well." Then she thinks, "I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed." Meanwhile later Ling says to a servant, "What's the meaning of this? Why did the Lei family prepare such a lowly place for the young miss?" While listening to it she thinks, I knew it. His dislike is so obvious. The original owner of this body was very naive. After that she stops Ling from argumenting with that servant. Then the servant says, "Our master must save the good places in the city for honored guests from the imperial family. The fact that we emptied out this place for you should be more than enough." After listening to that she says, "All right, I understand. Why don't you go and report back?" Then Ling asks her, "Miss, how could the Lei family do this?" While going inside she thinks it's fine. I already guessed that this would happen, besides I'm afraid this is only just beginning. And gives gold to Ling. After that, Ling asks her, Miss, how do you have gold? She replies, don't worry about that, focus on the shopping. Then she thinks it's a good thing my master left me a lot of things. This place is really shabby. I looked everywhere, and I could only find one usable room. I really need to find an opportunity to thank the Lei family. After that, someone comes there and asks her, you must be Feng Yan? Yes. And says, long time no see. You're becoming prettier as you grow. Then she asks them and who you all are. Then the man says, I am your Uncle Lei, and this is your big brother Min. You don't remember us? She replies, of course I remember. But DOES and Uncle Lei have guests. How did you find the time to come pay me a visit? I came as soon as the guests left. Min greet your little sister Feng Yan. Then Min says, little sister Feng Yan, long time no see, and asks her, have you been well? She replies, yes, fairly well, and thinks, who's this? The original owner has never seen her before. After that, Lei says, actually, I came today to speak with you about your wedding with Min. I hope that you two can get married sooner. Feng Yan, you are the successor to the armor of the World Destroyer after you turn 16. And you have to don the armor and enter into battle. What will you do if there isn't anyone to take care of Jai City? But after you and Min are married, we can help you look after it. Of course, you don't have to worry about Min. This here is Miss Suel, like you, she will also be marrying him. When the time comes, you can go into battle without any worries. Min will have her to take care of him, so you can feel at ease. While listening to him, she thinks, you old bastard, so this was what you were scheming about. So I will go into battle while Lei Min sits on his chair and enjoys the company of a beautiful woman. He's taking me for a fool. After that, she says, Uncle Lei, I will take your words to heart. Big sister Sue is so kind, so how can I marry the same person as her? I've decided that I will live the rest of my days alone. After listening to her, Min says, what do you mean? I've already wronged Ling Sheng by agreeing to marry you. Why are you making things so difficult now? Then she says, wow, I've never met such a shameless person before, and turns her face from them to that injured guy. While looking at her, Min says, Jai Feng Yan, you snake, your marriage is already set. And here you are, hiding a man. And Lei says, Feng Yan, you are clearly in the wrong here. If others were to find out about this. While listening to them, she thinks, are they trying to threaten me? And then she says, Uncle Lei, since you all know about this now, I won't have to hide it anymore. It's a good thing Lei Min has Miss Sue and I have Liu Huo. Perhaps we should just cancel this marriage. While listening to her, they get shocked and Min asks her, what did you say? You really wish to cancel the engagement so you can be with this vagrant? While sitting next to that guy, she says, vagrant. While Liu Huo has features like a flower, how many men in this world can possibly compare to him? After listening to her, Lei says, you speak the truth. I don't know how to respond. Then they leave, and while leaving, Min says to her that, Jai Feng Yan, don't come to regret this. After that, she thinks they finally left. And Liu Huo's skin is really nice. Then suddenly the guy asks her, have you rubbed enough? Who are you? She replies, my name's Jai Fengyan. I found you half dead and decided to save you. The injury on your body hasn't healed yet. You should rest. I'll take your temperature. Then the guy says, my name isn't Liu Huo. After that, she asks her, how much did you hear? And thinks this isn't good, and then she does a magic and makes him sleep. And say, why don't you just sleep for now? After that, she says to her soldier that call me when he wakes up again. After that, Ling comes back from the market and says, we brought the things you wanted, though there were some that we couldn't find. While looking at the herbs, she thinks looks like the names of these herbs are the same in both worlds. After that, Ling asks her, Miss, what are you going to do with so many herbs? And says it's good that the ones they couldn't find aren't important. After that, she says, naturally, it's to make pills in my cauldron. While looking at her, a soldier says, am I seeing things? Did the young miss just conjure a cauldron out of thin air? The Ling says, don't worry about it, let's just watch. Meanwhile, next day, Feng Yan says, I did it. It's a good thing master forced me to learn how to make pills back then. Come, one per person. Then Ling asks her, Miss, what is this? She replies, this pill can treat injuries on your body. While looking at the pill, Ling thinks, treat injuries. Is the young miss also a pharmacist? Pharmacists, they are a special existence. They are experts at creating medicine, and they fiercely guard their methods. Because of that, good pharmacists are scarce even in the imperial capital. They are very rare, and the medicine they make can be impossibly hard to get. But the medicines I usually see are liquid, in this small clay ball. After that, she says, hurry and try it. Then Ling says, no, I can't fail the young miss's expectations. After taking the pill, he looks at him and thinks, my injuries. It worked so fast. From what I know about normal medicines, they usually take a number of days to heal wounds. Then he asks this was considered slow. She replies, sure enough, the effect's slower since it's missing some ingredients. Well, you guys should go ahead and take those. I'm going back to get some sleep. While looking at her, Ling thinks, how is she a pushover who used to be bullied? Our family's young miss is someone who can summon lightning and make medicine. She's a goddess. After that, he says to soldiers, listen up, guys. You absolutely cannot tell anyone about what happened today. We cannot let others come and fight for our roles as bodyguards. Meanwhile, inside the room, she thinks I'm so tired. Right now, the first thing I need to do is repair my Neaton. The explosion and lightning from right before I died caused an injury to my original Neaton. I worked hard all day. I'll sleep first and figure things out later. Meanwhile, next day she thinks I actually dreamed about Master last night. He even said something about this place being suitable for cultivating. He's left the mortal world so many years ago, but he still has time to chase me all the way here to yell at me. However, I slept for only one night, and all the energy I used yesterday has already recovered. Looks like there really is something here. After that, she sees the soldiers saying there's something good. Let's go and see. What will gonna happen next? To find out, do like, share, subscribe, and comment down if you want the next part as soon as possible.